What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching VSO, and happy Monday, everyone. So today we're going to be doing one of our shop testing videos where we're going to be asking and answering the question, staking of the castle nut on AR type platforms. Is it necessary? I've been an advocate for years, and some portion of the internet says that they have to absolutely be staked. The other half says you could just torque it and leave it alone. I've had some of those rattle loose on me over the years. I've never had one that is staked rattle loose on me. I'm an advocate of staking. And to kind of set up the backstory here, recently I got an AR type in from a company called Akos Arms. You can go watch that full video. That thing was a lot of fun. It was a straight pull bolt action 45, fun gun. But I had a lengthy conversation with Matthew Hurd and his team at GunCon this year over that whole staking thing and the torque specs and et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to answer the question today. What is the value of staking that thing? And or can you just get away with torquing the sucker? Right to Bear provides legal protection services for those exercising the right to self-defense. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, oftentimes we see instances of malicious prosecution, politically motivated prosecution, and civil lawsuits are on the rise after self-defense incidents. Right to Bear's mission in those times of crisis is to step between you and all of those problems that are headed your way. One of the things that's really attractive to me about Right to Bear over some of the other competitors in the space is their commitment to protecting houses of worship. I recently went down and observed one of the classes that they were collaborating on to enhance church security in local communities, and I will have that video listed in all relevant places for you to run down. Special thanks to Right to Bear for making today's video possible. There's probably been some kind of introduction here, but while we got this thing open for cleaning and maintenance, I want to do a video on staking your castle nut / torquing your castle nut. Which should you be doing, or is it a combination of the two of them? I'm partial to staking, but we're going to answer some stuff today. So the other thing I would like to say before we get started is I have access to a really nice action block for pistol caliber carbines from Midwest Industries, but today this is clamped in the vise this way because I'm trying to take advantage of this big hunk of aluminum here to anchor off of, because I don't know what the torques are going to be today. I assume that they're going to be safe, but I don't know that because I'm not pre-testing this. So let's get to it. So the first thing that we're going to do is the government, you guys know how I feel about that, says that a castle nut should be torqued to 40 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my torque wrench here, and I am going to torque this thing to 40 foot-pounds. There it is. And then I'm going to insert this little guy. And I'm going to have to play with the camera here to make sure that you guys are going to be able to see this. And this is a digital torque meter. Ooh, you guys can see that. It'll be upside down, but you'll be able to see it. Okay, so we're going to do that. But if I do this, does it get better? Oh yeah, that's going to be way better on the camera view. So let me turn that 90 degrees here. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay. So now from here, actually, I have to do it because the camera's in the way. Sorry. You have to torque 90 degrees from the work or have a torque converter. Ah, crap. And we are working. Good deal. So now what I'm going to do is I've reversed the torque, and I want to see what happens when I spin this off. What number do we get when we spin this off? All right, so that beeping noise was it exceeding the torque that I had it set to last time I used it. So I have now upped the alarm torque on this device to 90. So hopefully we don't go that high today. Spec is supposed to be 40 on this thing anyway, as per what the government says. So anyway, this is now hand tight. Like you can see that I've tightened this. It's got a little bit of interference. I'm just going to hook my fingernail in there. I'm just going to push that hand tight. And now I'm going to take my center punch here and I'm going to stake this. They make automatic center punches and mine is just broken. So there it is. Time out real quick, stop. This is absolutely ridiculous and you would never ever actually do it this way for actual use. The purpose of this is trying to quantify if there's any appreciable added value, any quantifiable value to just staking without any kind of torque whatsoever applied to the nut. Don't do it that way. That's good enough. And I have to take this thing out to stake the second position anyway. So I'm going to do that and then we'll torque it. All right, so this time around I have swapped over to the longer arm of my torque wrench because I just, to be completely honest, I was running out of ass on the last time. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up, make sure that we are in frame here. Nope. Didn't even register. Now torquing to 40. From here you can see the vast difference between the original staking positions and where the new ones are going to be. I'm going to go ahead and restake this thing and we're going to retest. Staked and torqued. If you're any panting or water in the background, that is the dog. I just ran him. It's really hot outside. It'll die down here in a second. I can hear a lot of people saying, the numbers don't lie. Just staking's outdated. It's dumb. Don't do it. Throw it out. Blah, 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 blah. That would be true if the system that I just created for you was actually indicative of how those parts come apart. What I just demonstrated is that staking adds no appreciable torque value to the untorquing of a castle nut using the correct tools and the correct method. But that's not how those things come apart. Two things cause the barrel nut to rattle loose. The first is firing sequences, the just explosions going off inside the gun and the parts rattling back and forth, right? But I would say more importantly, shouldering sequences. Every time you interact with the shoulder stock of that weapon, you're imparting torque on that buffer tube. Think about it. You shoulder the thing, you pull it into you pull back on the handguard, you reload the weapon by putting it into your armpit. You're imparting torque on that thing, and you're basically taking that buffer tube and going like this. How does torque actually work? Some people might say, well, you got the castle nut, and it grinds into the torque plate, and that's what holds it. That's not how torque works. So what is relevant is the threads. There are 3 threads and 2 interfaces in this system. There's the castle nut buffer tube interface, and then there's the buffer tube lower receiver interface. The one that we care about is the buffer tube lower receiver interface. It is aluminum on aluminum interaction. The castle nut is there, but the castle nut is the driver. The castle nut goes down that buffer tube, it hits the torque plate, and it stops. And what actually moves is as you continue to thread that castle nut, it is pulling on that buffer tube and it is grinding it into the threads of the lower receiver. So if you look at threads, normally you got some play in there. We've all felt this before, right? But when you bind those threads, they bind together and they want to try to move past each other, but there's interference. As you continue to torque, there's going to be some elastic deformation. And that is basically a spring. You can think of the coils of the spring are analogous to each turn of those threads. And depending on the material that they're made out of, how much material is there, and several other characteristics, how much interference, et cetera, there's mathematics that govern it, dictates what that torque value is and how much you can create. So that's why if we torque that down to like 90 or 100 foot-pounds, it wouldn't surprise me if those threads on that buffer tube just sheared right off, right? So 40, while that isn't an insignificant amount of force, because remember, that's what we use to torque. That's what we use to hold a barrel nut on the end of a receiver, right? So that's what holds the barrel into place on that same gun, 40 foot-pounds. We've got 3 threads, and we've got something that is basically moving inside of another thread. So there is some play there. It's the interference that causes that. By putting a stake in there, you basically lock that system around itself. So I've had instances where that interaction between the lower receiver and the buffer tube has become compromised, and they can do this, right? But because we have staked some metal from that torque plate into that hole, that gap, in that is supposed to be there for the staking purposes, between the torque plate and the barrel nut, or the castle nut, and we do that in 2 places, that thing can't freely rotate independent of what's going on between the lower receiver and the buffer tube. And that's what holds it together. So can you get away with just torquing it into place? Yeah, for the most part you can, but there's 2 things that I would say about staking. Again, 40 foot-pounds, not an insignificant amount of torque. Let's go to the folks that roll their own to start with. A lot of folks don't have a good torque wrench on their bench top. And if you don't have one of those, then you're almost certainly not reaching 40 foot-pounds. And putting a stake in it just gives you that little extra assurance that it's not going to come apart. When it comes to the manufacturer, there's really no excuse because it's completely free. All of those tools already exist in the shop, and all it takes is a couple hammer swings to get it done. And I will leave you with consumer confidence. Because if a consumer picks that thing up and he looks at it and says, that thing's been staked there and there, this thing should be good to go. Well, that is one of those priceless commodities that really helps a brand long term. So that is something that is entirely free that you can do to instill confidence in your products, and manufacturers should absolutely do that. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Do you stake your stuff? Do you torque it? Or do you do both? Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you on another one here at VSO.